I think the fundamental message he's trying to tell the leaders is that we are all in this together. We are succeeding. We are controlling. We are succeeding. Let's handle this panic rationally and let's get beyond it. And also then thereafter look at long-term measures.
There's multiple cases across that region. China and ASEAN have coordinated before, back during this SARS outbreak. What do you think needs to be done? What more can be done to make sure that they're all on the same page going forward with this situation and future pandemics?
Oh, I think actually quite a lot can be done. I'm sure each of these countries have their own legal frameworks, how they deal with these pandemics, but they have to see whether these frameworks are complementary to each other. And this is as good an opportunity to see that the legislation in various countries overlaps with each other so that there is synergy. Another area where there's a great opportunity here, frankly, and I'm talking in terms of, in 2005 they had the Indian Ocean tsunami and a lot of countries came together and the way we do disaster preparedness itself has changed. And this might be an occasion also for China and Southeast Asia to have an institutionalized mechanism, a sort of a public health communication related mechanism where they can exchange these discussions on these issues and find mutually cooperative solutions to these. So I think this is also can be seen as an opportunity done right.
Or standard operating procedure when it comes to even quarantines. We saw this case that everyone's talking about with the cruise ship off the coast of Japan and how that was handled. And there's another cruise ship that was making its way, was able to land in Cambodia. What would you say are ASEAN's biggest concerns when it comes to COVID-19 and the economic impact here? I mean, we're talking about tourism, investment, supply chains. Exactly. What are they thinking of right now?
ASEAN is integrated with China at so many levels. So for them, it's two big fears. One is, of course, public health. It's about citizens falling ill and the healthcare system not being able to cope. And that is a fundamental duty of government, and they don't want to be caught napping on this front. And it's difficult at a time of a pandemic. So obviously, public health at an individual level in each of these countries is an absolute essential area of importance for them. But also, I mean, countries have to look beyond in terms of, because they're so integrated in terms of their supply chains, they have to look beyond in terms of the economics. Ships must be able to go to their ports. Ships should have confidence that they can go to the ports of all these countries and pick up goods and send them to the other countries. Supply chains will break down otherwise. And because they are so integrated, we've heard about how China catches a cold and others sneeze, and ASEAN to an extent is in that position. And obviously it is to China's benefit and to ASEAN's benefit to ensure that this pandemic is dealt with rationally and that its economic impact is limited to as little as possible without risking or minimizing the public health related risks.
About 30 seconds left. ASEAN, very important to China as well in that regard. I mean, they need each other.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Both countries need each other. There's no question. And it's very gratifying to see countries who have had little difficult relations with China, like Vietnam, also on board because they understand they are all in this together. China and Vietnam and ASEAN are in it together, and they need to find solutions together.